to another episode of The Run. This episode on The Run by TS is proudly presented by Pickups, your everything on-demand delivery app. Today we have AJ and S. What's up, guys?
What's going on?
Hello.
Are you a Duke fan by any chance?
Me? I'm a Duke fan. I got a Carolina fan too, man. But, you know, this just, I don't know, I just felt like repping this today.
Okay.
I love it.
I look kind of good in it, so I thought it
You
talk to
looking in it.
Huh? Thank you, Shay. Thank you, Shay. I appreciate it.
Don't let anyone tell you different.
That's right.
You strut, young king. You do your thing, right? You do your thing.
I just felt like wearing blue today, man. I don't know what it was, man.
Nice. Cool.
All right, let's talk Eastern Conference Finals. Boston, Miami. Wow. Did we see this coming?
Not the Raptors fan in me. Definitely did not see it coming as a Toronto Raptors fan.
Yeah,
but
I feel that.
we got to live with what we have, right? It's gonna be a fun conference finals. I think like this is a really, really fun matchup. If you think about Boston, what they provide offensively, like Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, just those two are an insane duo that I could see just being like trouble for the East for the next 5 to 10 years. I think that they could just be incredible. So this is kind of their chance to get to that next level. They've played with the Eastern Conference Finals for a couple of years now, and now this is that one shot for them to get to that point. And I think honestly, I have Boston as the favorites here. I don't know about you, AJ.
Well, I think this is Boston's time to prove that they're a better team without Kyrie. I think a lot of people were saying that, you know what, they're going to be a better team, and I think that they've proved it. I think Jason Tatum just went to the next level during that Raptors series and proved that, you know what, nah, I'm in that discussion as well. Personally, I got Heat in 6, but I think it's going to be a great series. Like, I think, like we have the All-Star competition, right? We have the three-point competition in the All-Star game. This is going to be a three-point clinic with Duncan Robinson, Hero, Jaylen Brown, Tatum, Marcus Smart. Like, Marcus Smart, where is this guy even coming from with the three-point shots, man?
Looking like Klay Thompson with his shot.
I swear to God, like that Game 2 performance with the Raptors just gave him a whole new confidence, and he's been pretty consistent, right? But still, I think Jimmy Buckets, Kelly Olynyk, and honestly, man, Dragic, for me, just doesn't get that respect that I think that he deserves, man. Like, that playmaking ability, his ability to find that pocket, and him, like, I think working under the tutelage of Steve Nash when they were in Phoenix, I see a lot of that same game inside of him right now. And I think these kind of factors will help the Miami Heat move on to the NBA Finals, as much as it's tough to say, because I honestly thought, like you said, guys, I thought it was going to be the Raptors. And just, you know, that performance by Pascal Siakam was giving me nightmares since. And it's been tough, man. But yeah, I got to go Heat in 6, but I think it's going to be a fun series. Like, we're going to see the greatest pickup game ever.
I'm interested to see Jimmy Butler, just because it's going to be Jimmy Butler versus Marcus Smart, and we both know how great of like agitators both those guys are on a basketball court. So I think that's fun. I sway the other way. I say Boston in 6. Yeah, I think Boston's going to win in 6 because Boston's defense, we saw it in the Raptors series, is just incredible. Like they have long defenders that can guard any position. They can switch on anything. They're really just so versatile. They're crazy. It's something that bothered the Raptors throughout the entire series, right? I just think that's way too.
Absolutely.
I just think, you know, the Heat's offense is going to struggle a lot with this series, and that's what's going to be what it comes down to pretty much.
I'm going to say, although Boston is an incredible team, I am terrified of Jimmy Butler. I am sorry. He is a beast.
Yeah.
And the energy with the Heat, like, I feel like all season people have kind of like brushed them aside, haven't really given them a lot of credit. And I think they're going to come out on top, to be honest.
All right.
I mean, Jimmy Butler, I mean, his mentality has just been business trip. And that's what it is, right? Because you're not going home to family. You're literally, you've packed your bags. You've come to Orlando for one specific reason, right? These guys would go back to their families, kind of take that break, then go back. No, this guy is narrow vision, has one thing in mind, man, and that is to get a chip.
He's
That's to
locked
get a
in.
ring.
He's
Locked
locked
in, man.
in right now.
And I agree with you, S, man. That Boston defense was a nightmare for Toronto. They could not get into the lane at all. They cut off every single angle, and the Raptors were just throwing up the most ridiculous shots that I've ever seen. No flow at all.
Not at all.
Very un-Raptor-like, right?
Yeah.
But I just don't see that with Miami because of Jimmy Butler leading the way. And like I said, with Dragic's flow, along with them able to drive, get the screen, and send it out for the three ball, I see a lot of that happening. And I think Miami is a little bit better than Boston when it comes to that.
Fair enough. I'll say this though. This is kind of interesting because Jimmy's getting older now. I think he turned 31 the other day. It was his birthday the other day, right? This might be his last chance to get to the NBA Finals, unless Miami builds a contender over the next couple of years. But this might be his last best chance. And then if you look at the Celtics, they're super young. They have all the time in the world to make it to another NBA Finals. Maybe that edges out Miami. Maybe there's that hunger factor that Miami has that Boston doesn't have. But who knows? I think it's going to be an amazing series regardless.
Yeah, 100%. So Western Conference Finals. Let's flip over. Lakers. Are we surprised Lakers got here?
Nope, not at all.
Not even 1 second.
I have always said, man, as crazy as this might sound, with LeBron James, with all the accolades and all the achievements that he's had throughout his illustrious career, LeBron James is still playing with a chip on his shoulder. Because this man has always been told that you can only succeed in the Eastern Conference. That's it.
Right.
LeBron won't be able to do this in the West. He can't succeed in the West. The West there's more competition. And what happens? He joins the Western Conference last year for the first time in his career and doesn't make the playoffs. Sure, they were fourth place until he got injured. He gets injured, the team goes down, and there just wasn't enough time to make up any seeding.
Right.
But now he's in the Western Conference, first place, first seed. This guy is on a mission. People actually thought Portland was going to win that series. Like, I was in shock, man. I was in shock. And Dame, I mean, and fine, fair enough. Dame had a great momentum coming into the playoffs, but LeBron showed, in that series why I think playoff Bron is another beast. He showed in the Houston series, man. They got one game, but man, he really showed what's going on. And I just think this guy's locked in, and whoever faces him, man, good luck, man. The playoff run is real.
I think me and you share the same kind of ideal or the opinion on LeBron, just because you're right. He has been doubted. Even when he was in the East, they were like, he can never do this in the West. There's no way he can do this in the West. That's not happening. And look what he's done. And I think more so, even if you look at, like you said, right? They said that Portland would beat them. They said Houston would give them a run for their money. None of that has happened. LeBron is absolutely, as you said, a boss. He is a man on a mission. He knows, kind of like Jimmy Butler, this is a business trip for him. He's just going there to do what he has to do. And it kind of shows, because if you look at what he's been saying over the past couple of months, when the NBA wanted to not continue, he's like, "No, we should go for it," because he knows this is one of his last chances. When the NBA suspended midway through the playoffs, he was one of the people that said, "Let's play," but then we found out the Lakers walked out of it as well. So there was like all different reports regarding that, right? Regardless, you can see clearly LeBron knows and understands that this year, more importantly than any year, in my opinion, is his chance to get his fourth ring.
Yeah.
And that fourth ring catapults him to a whole nother level. It's like, all right, now we can have that conversation of LeBron versus Jordan a little bit more fairly, right? Although I think we can still have that conversation. Right?
Yeah. I mean, that's another conversation for another time. But I think because a lot of people, like, I want to add to that point, like, a lot of people say that whoever wins the championship this year is going to have an asterisk next to it, right? Because of the bubble and the environment and the atmosphere. I think winning a championship now would even be tougher.
Yep.
And this is why. Because this environment, like, think about it. Just put yourself in their shoes, right? You go to work, right? Imagine being away from your family, from your loved ones, even though we have some family coming into the bubble, but that's still not the same thing. You're at work. You're taking a business trip for about 2-3 months out of the year, right? For 2-3 months without seeing your family and your focus, and you have to actually win a championship in that mentality. That's not easy. That's not easy. Like to come to work every day and like always needing to perform top notch, and plus without the adrenaline of your fans cheering you on, like that helps a lot. There's no home court advantage, and that stuff kind of eases your nerves a little bit, but they don't have that either. So it's even playing field for everybody.
Right.
Number one. Number two, like you said, like everything that's going on off the court, especially for African Americans, Black Lives Matter. LeBron James, for me, has been the most outspoken player in the NBA history when it comes to social justice issues. I don't know anybody else outside of LeBron James in the NBA. Sure, there's been other athletes.
Well, maybe you could go like Bill Russell, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah, you can, right? But the thing is like they're really balancing off-court, on-court issues right now. And I think the way LeBron has said, you know what, I'm going to be the face of this, right? LeBron is taking that mentality, and because of the bubble, the atmosphere inside the bubble, and because of everything he's dealing with, the stress and the pressures off the court, the fact that he's still able to do what he's doing right now with all that shows why he's one of the greatest of all time. And I would even say that this championship would even mean more for anybody. Not just LeBron, but anybody to win.
Like, think of it like this. You guys go on vacations. I don't know how you guys are on vacations, but after 5 or 6 days in a hotel bed, I'm so desperately wanting my own bed. Like, I crave my own bed. Now, think
That's what I'm saying.
These NBA players have been doing this for 2.5 months.
Right.
Right. It's a whole different playing ground. Regardless of how nice the amenities are, nothing is home. There's no such thing as home.
That's why Kyle Lowry, when he was done that press conference, when they got eliminated, what did he say? He goes, time to get out of this.
Yeah, right.
Because a part of him wanted to go home, because honestly, that's what it is, man. Hotel court. Yeah, you go to Disneyland. Yeah, you can grab some food. You can play some video games. But home is home, man, and family is family. And the fact that these guys got to do that without all that from home speaks volumes.
Yep.
So speaking of home, someone needs to go home. It's going to be Clippers or Nuggets. Okay. Wild series. I cannot believe this even made it to Game 7, but here we are.
The Nuggets, man.
Go ahead, Ash.
Wow.
Yeah. No, the Nuggets. Listen, the Nuggets, the past couple of years have just said, listen, the people have paid for a 7-game series, so we're going to give them a 7-game series. Look, 2019 round 1 versus San Antonio, goes 7. 2019 round 2 versus Portland, goes 7. Portland wins. And then this year, 2020 round 1 versus Utah, game 7 again. This time they came back from 3-1. And then now again, they're trying to be the only team in NBA history to come back from 3-1 twice in a postseason. It would be absolutely incredible if they do this. Honestly, I'm not giving them much of a chance of doing it. I think this is probably the end of the road for the fairy tale story of Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray. But man, on the other side, you know what? Let me ask you guys this. Are you guys afraid that the Clippers just don't have it in them? Like they seem like they're entitled. Like they feel like they should already have won an NBA championship.
So here's the thing. Here's what I think. I think that they're overlooking the Denver Nuggets. They are looking in LeBron James' direction, and they're looking at the Lakers saying that I'm coming for you. Just let me take care of these guys first, right?
But
they're
not.
Do my business. And they're not. But that's why that has affected them greatly, because they've overlooked their opponent, right? They've overlooked their opponent greatly to the point where now it's a game 7. And what you've done is you have increased momentum and increased confidence in Jamal Murray. We knew Jamal Murray coming into this series right now. But now Joker is like, hey, remember me? I'm the best center in the league. I'm the best big man in the league.
True.
Let me remind you. And what did he do in game 6? He showed what's going on, man. So not only do you have to deal with Jamal Murray, now you got to deal with Joker. And as we all know, playoff P, right? So game 7, right? I'm just saying, game 7, we don't know what's gonna happen. I'm not that big of a hater for playoff P like you are. I just have to throw that in there, right?
No, Ray's not here. Kaon's not here. We can get our takes off. Don't worry about it.
No, I'm not at that level of playoff P hatred like you are, man. I just have to throw that in there because that's what we do over here, right? When it comes to Ray and Kay, we gotta kind of poke the bear a little bit. But I'm sure when they have their own episode, when if it's just gonna be them,
they'll clap back.
They're gonna clap back hard, but that's okay. That's okay. No, but honestly, jokes aside, man. Denver, man. I think a lot of us didn't give them a lot of credit, and I think that along with the Los Angeles Clippers, I don't think that they kind of gave that respect, and they were looking in LA's direction, and it's kind of biting them in the butt.
Yep.
And Game 7, I personally got the Clippers because I think it's just the stage is too big, and Kawhi's going to be like, just give me the ball, I'm going to take over. But man, it's going to be a close game, but I got Clippers.
Yeah,
I
I've got
want
Clippers as well.
to root for the Clippers. I'm just nervous because of their team chemistry.
Yeah.
Something is off. I
Yeah.
think if it's the same unit next season, they have a lot of potential to do some very, very good things. This season, however, the wheels aren't turning as smooth as you would think that it should, because on paper, they truly do look like they could be the best team.
They're deep.
However,
yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with the personalities on there, though. Like you got a Patrick Beverly, you got a Lou Williams, you got a Montrezl Harrell, right?
yeah.
You got a Marcus Morris. Oh my, I forgot about Marcus Morris. All four of those guys are hotheads in terms of they think they're the ish, right? They think they're the man of the show. They think they're a leader. I mean, in some cases they are, but I think in a lot of ways they think that they're supposed to run the team, right? You got Kawhi Leonard, you got Paul George there. I remember halfway through the season, we saw this report that said a lot of people were mad that Kawhi Leonard and Paul George were taking private planes and the rest of the team was taking a separate plane. And that was an issue. That was an actual report that came out. Yeah. So you're right, Shay. You're right. You're absolutely right. It's like there's this issue that's going on between the team that we obviously can't see. We don't have privy to. So I think you're right in that sense. But that also goes to show you maybe that just will be the reason. That's like the I don't know what's the word for it, but that's like the Achilles ankle, right? Yeah. Troy's ankle for them. They're just going to lose because of that, in my opinion. I think they'll probably get to the Western Conference Finals. They'll probably end up beating the Nuggets, but I have the Lakers winning in that Western Conference Finals.
So do I. I mean, I had Raptors versus Lakers as my final prediction. I had the Raptors winning it all, but now I got Lakers because playoff Braun is just on another level. We already talked about this. I got Lakers coming out, and I got Lakers winning the championship eventually as well.
I'll go with that. I guess I have no choice. I had Clippers. I had Clippers at the beginning, but I'm with how they are.
Oh, you're changing your pick, Shay?
Well, they're not performing. I can't rely on you. I have to go with what I'm seeing, what the evidence says. And Lakers are, you know what, they're looking hot. So
yeah, they are. Yeah, they definitely are.
Anthony Davis is going to be the big part of that whole series. If the series ends up being Lakers-Clippers, I think how much he's going to be able to take advantage of their defense is going to be a huge part of it. Like, LeBron's going to do what he's going to do. Kawhi Leonard's going to do what he's going to do. Paul George is going to choke like he usually does. It's going to be Anthony – I'm playing. It's going to be Anthony Davis who's going to have to really push the narrative here. So I think, Paul George jokes aside, Anthony Davis is going to be the most important part of that.
Yeah, and deep down, it'd be a great story if Denver was to make the conference finals. But personally speaking, I don't want to see a Denver-Lakers conference finals. No. Honestly, I want to see a Clippers-Lakers conference finals. As much as I love Jamal Murray, man, as much as I love Jokic, man, I think they're going to give them a run for their money. But personally, just as a fan, and everybody else, I think, would agree that they would love to see Clippers and Lakers in the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah. For sure, you would want to see a battle of LA, 100%. But for Raptors fans, even like a little bit, don't you want Kawhi to go out in the same round that Raptors went out? Like a little bit?
Yeah. Oh, no, not a little bit. A whole lot. A whole lot. Yeah. Throw that all. Listen, when they lost in Game 6, that was top moments of the playoffs for me, just because I revel in the fact that Kawhi Leonard. Did you see the picture of Kawhi Leonard just kind of like biting his fingernails? They had a meme of it and everything. Like,
yeah, I saw that.
He's missing out on Kawhi and Dine for these guys. He's missing out on Toronto and making it to the NBA Finals for these guys. I don't get it. I don't understand it, guys. I don't understand it. Doesn't make sense.
That's fair. Let's talk a little bit about Giannis.
Okay.
And he goes one day and unfollows teammates, management, anyone and everything associated with Milwaukee Bucks. What does that say?
He's just baiting them in, man, if you ask me. I think that because I read a quote. I don't know if you guys read this or not, but I don't remember word for word what it was, but I think it was before they lost Game 5. I think they were They won game 4, so Miami was up 3-1, and Giannis around then had said, I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying in Milwaukee.
Oh,
I'm
like
not
build a
I,
wall and go through it type of thing.
yeah, exactly. Build a wall, go through that. I'm that kind of guy. Then they lose, and then he's unfollowing everybody. You know what I mean? And then it's just like he's asking. Rumors were trade. I don't think that was true. He's asking for a trade. He wants Golden State and Toronto to be the hotspot, but I think those became fake reports.
Yeah.
But now what I'm hearing is it worked though. It worked because now the reports I'm hearing is that Milwaukee is willing to go into the luxury tax to give Giannis a championship caliber squad, right? So it worked. It worked. I got to give kudos to Giannis. And if they do something next year that, because the Jordan Pippen argument, I know you guys talked about that last episode. With all due respect to Chris Middleton, man, I don't see him being that number 2 option, right? I see him more, if we're talking Jordan Pippen, I think he's more like a coach, right? Right? I think he's more of a 3, right? A coach, right? Giannis is a Jordan of a team. And when I mean Jordan, I don't mean literally Michael Jordan. I mean he's the number 1 option on the team who needs a number 2, who needs a Pippen. And Middleton just isn't that guy. He's more of, like I said, a Tony Kukoc. And so it's going to be up to management now to grab that number 2 option from whichever team. Maybe a Van Vliet, maybe somebody else. I don't know. But they're going to throw some money because I think what Giannis did worked, and they're kind of shaking in their boots.
Y'all better stay away from Van Vliet. Y'all better. Yeah.
Tell him, man. Tell him.
Y'all better stay away from Federico.
I agree. But Van Vliet's gonna get paid, man.
Oh yeah,
anybody.
Yeah.
And he deserves his money. But I'm saying Milwaukee is not gonna spare any expense to try to keep Giannis.
So I kind of feel like 2 ways by this, because I saw the same report that you had that they're willing to go into the luxury tax, and I wonder because last year they had an opportunity to go into the luxury tax by re-signing Malcolm Brogdon, and they decided not to. They said Malcolm Brogdon can go home. He can go to Indiana, call it a day. You're done. Your services aren't needed here. If they weren't willing to go to the luxury tax then, I don't know how comfortable I would feel if I was Giannis that they would go and make a drastic move to win now again and go into the luxury tax. Look, these guys are owners, right, that make millions of dollars, billions. They're billionaires, right? This luxury tax stuff doesn't affect their finances as much, so they should be willing to go into the luxury tax whenever they have a contender. So what's the difference between this year and now? Is it just because the pressure is on you more now?
It's a contract year for Giannis. Like, it's real now. Like, Giannis has 1 more year left on his deal now.
Yeah, no,
and
I know.
So now it's time to wake up. And Giannis has never reacted this way, right? Last year, he never reacted this way. Unfollowing, causing a stir. It just wasn't Giannis. Giannis just used to put his head down, play ball, and move forward. But now Giannis, we're kind of seeing an evolution where he is getting to that status of a LeBron, of a Durant, not only on the court, because he already had the game, but now kind of like, for lack of a better term, the politics or the way that you play the game off the court to get the players you want to play on the court. That's kind of the game that Giannis is playing now, and he's never been in that position. But because he's doing that now, I think management and ownership now are kind of feeling like, okay, this guy is sending us a message now. We better do it. Otherwise, at the end of 2021, he's gone.
So I've got an idea for you for a trade. If that's what we're thinking of, I've got an idea for you for what we should see Giannis being, or what the roster should be like. The Milwaukee Bucks should go ahead and try to get Chris Paul.
Agreed.
100%. He makes $40 million a year, which is massive. But if you package Bledsoe and maybe even, if you want to get rid of Middleton, although I doubt they want to get rid of Middleton, maybe Bledsoe and a couple other players to match the contracts, get Chris Paul on your team. You finally have an actual Pippen. You have your Jordan, you have your Pippen now, and you can go 1-2 punch. And that's probably your best chance. Realistically, that is probably your best chance at winning it. But if you think of it like that, that's mortgaging your future. You're done. You're responsible for Chris Paul for 4 years. So if Giannis even leaves, you're still paying Chris Paul $40 million after the fact. So there's a lot.
But I think you still got Chris Paul at the end of the day, right? And Chris Paul kind of proved this year with the OKC Thunder. If you give him some young guys who he can work with, he can make it work, right? It's not like if you keep Chris Paul and you get rid of Giannis, they're not as successful, but at the same time, they're not a lottery team either, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a
you
good point.
you try to. If you lose Giannis, if you're Milwaukee, but you keep Chris Paul, then at least you got money to work with to try to attract more players, right? And Chris Paul, being the president of the NBA PA, kind of having his stroke around the league, he may be able to convince some guys to come to Milwaukee, right? So, yeah, I mean, you are for sure giving up the future and giving up, but we know with Toronto, sometimes that works, right? They got rid of DeMar, they got Kawhi, they were able to keep some guys, but if you are able to go all in for a year to get a championship, it's 100% worth it. I am sure nobody regrets that move that Masai made because we got what we wanted. We got that chip, that picture you got there behind you there, S. No, other side.
Oh, no, I got you.
Oh, you got the ring. Oh, all right. Yo, what is that? Like inside a safe or something? You got to go like all the way up there, bro? Like, what you got up there, bro?
Yeah.
So sometimes that works. Sometimes that works, guys, man. To try to give up your future to try to get a championship now, trust me, because we know when your team wins a championship, regardless, rental players or not, it's always a great feeling.
You're good with
always
it. Yeah, that's true. So
speaking on the terms of Raptors, how do we feel about off-season moves for our team, or at least I think all of our team?
Yeah. Look. I think the number one task, the number one thing you get done so that we can just have an ease of mind type of thing, extend Masai Ujiri, give him a full presidency role, extend Nick Nurse for 5+ years, however long the contract you can possibly do for a coach. Those are the two most important things, in my opinion, just so you can get them out the way. Get that done right now so that they can focus on a full offseason of re-signing Fred VanVleet, trying to get a Marc Gasol or Serge Ibaka to come back for cheap, and then try to get other free agents.
No Gasol. Please, no Gasol.
You don't want Gasol?
I can't do Gasol anymore. I'm sorry. Last year was great. I can't do Gasol this year, man. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I can't.
We could get him for cheap, though. That's the thing.
I can't do it. I'm sorry. I agree with the Masai. I agree with the Masai and the Nick Nurse, man. And yeah, you better do a Scrooge McDuck and throw all your gold coins at FDB if you can, man, to try to make sure that he joins with us, because that guy is the future of this team, regardless.
100%.
Kyle's got maybe 1-2 years left. He's 33 years old. I'm 34. So he's got a couple years, and he's no LeBron James when it comes to physical body of work, right? So I don't see him lasting for that long. So you got to make sure that you get Freddie involved. Maybe even this Nick Nurse, his contract is up, right, this year?
Well, Masai and Nick Nurse both finish their contracts next year, after next year. But you have the option to extend both of them now.
So I think right now Fred is the priority. Masai and Fred. Nick Nurse, he's got a year right now, right? And I don't see him. I mean, he probably get money thrown at him at the end of this next year. But Freddie's a free agent now, man.
Yeah.
And he's earned his keep, man. So I think Freddie is the priority. But yeah, you got to keep Masai for sure. But yeah, let's hold it off on the Gasol train just for right now.
Not a fan.
Yeah. I battle between Gasol and Ibaka. I don't know which one we should necessarily keep, because Gasol.
Really,
Ibaka's just going to be really expensive. I understand what you mean with Gasol, but just Ibaka's going to be 18-19 mil a year, and I don't know.
But he brings more to the table. I can't believe he didn't play the last minute of that fourth quarter, man, in game 7, man. Why wasn't he on the floor? Why wasn't he on the floor? I don't understand what happened there, man. Because if Ibaka has the ball down low compared to Pascal, I'm breathing better. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it's a tough game, man. I'm replaying that last minute and a half of Game 7 a lot in my head. From the Norman Powell fast break that got blocked to Jason Tatum getting the rebound over the free throws to get him extra free throws, and then Fred with just an awful shot at the end of the game. It's all replaying in my head. I'm getting depressed again. It's just not fun.
Let's not do it. Let's not do it, please.
All right. Well, on that note, good episode. This was good. Good talk. Yeah, this was super fun. This episode of The Run on TS is proudly presented to you by Pickups, your everything on demand delivery app. So shout out to Pickups. Thank you guys. This was so fun.
Thank you, everybody.
Until next time.
Enjoy the rest of your day, boys.
Okay, bye, guys.
And girl, Shea Buckler's here, bro.
Shea my boy.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye, guys.